Okay, I'm in the folder right now, and let's create a file here. Let's create like index.html, and I'd like to create a main.js, and let's link them together. So in the index.html, we're gonna just put a script tag here. Has a source is equal to the main.js. That's it. So they are linked together, so I can test it over there. And let me increase the font size. All right. So in the main.js, let's talk about the assignment. Let me open the description. All right. So in this assignment, you're gonna have to do 12 questions. Yeah, 12 questions. So let's start from the first one. So the first one is write the function print int and takes one parameter n and print all the natural numbers from 1 to the n in the console. So this one is basically it should be very easy. This is a requirement. I'm gonna put it here as a comment. Right. So basically ask you to create a function, and I already told you the function name. The name should be print int, and also told you you have to have a input parameter here. And this function inside, like whenever I call that function, it should print. If I call print int 5, it's gonna print out from 1 to 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I give 10, it's gonna print from 1 to 10, one by one. All right. So it's basically we're going to have a loop here. You cannot just do a lot of console log here. Console log 1, console log 2. It's impossible, because it's the number we're going to print here is going to be changing, depends on the input number. So we're going to have a loop here. So the loop going to start from 1 and to the given number. Again, if I give you 5, it stop at 5. If I give you 10, it stop at 10. And every time when we do the loop, in each iteration, we're gonna print out a number. So let's have easiest way is to do a while loop here. If while let's create a variable here. Variable I started with 1. While this I is smaller or equals to the n I give it, what I want to do here, I want to firstly console log the current I. Right? Like again, don't forget adding 1 to the I. Otherwise, the I is going to always equal to 1, and the loop is gonna be infinite loop. It's gonna crash your browser. Right? This is how the function is, and we can test it. So if I just say here, I want to print int, oops, what is that? Print int 10, and it's gonna give you whatever I ask it to do. So let's open the file with a browser. The folder is it's here, new folder. Open that. Hit F12, because I asked it to print in the console, so it's going to print in the console. Print int is not defined. Has some issue here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm missing a T for the function name. Print int. Reload it. So it's printing from 1 to 10. Let me make this on the left. This on the right. Alright. This is printing from 1 to 10. And I can also check it with like one print int 12. Reload the page, it's printing from 1 to 12. So the loop is starting from 1, and every time it's going to check, is I smaller or equal to n? Right now n is equal to 12, right? Because I give 12 here, so the input is 12, make n is 12. If 1 is smaller or equal to 12, yes it is. So we're going to console log the I is 1, so we console log the 1 here. And then we're adding 1 to the I become 2. Is 2 smaller than 12? Yes, it is. So we're gonna still doing the loop, cancel the log 2. So we print out 2 here, and we're adding another 1 to the I. I becomes 3, and we'll do a loop again. And is 3 smaller than n? Yes, it is. We're adding 1 to the, we cancel log the current I. We cancel log 3 here, and adding 1 to the I. And keep going until we get 12. Is 12 smaller or equal to n? Yes, it is. 12 is equal to 12, right? So we're going to cancel log 12. Adding another 1 to the I. I becomes 13. 13 is not smaller or equal to 12. So we just stop this while loop. And the function is done. This is how you do the first question, all right? And also, if you prefer, you can use it. You can do it with a for loop, right? With a for loop, we're going to have a for. We're going to have variable I equal to 1 as a beginning. Remember, the for loop takes 3 statements. The first statement is when to start, and the second one is when to continue, which is I smaller or equals to n. And the third statement is I equal to I plus 1. You can just put I plus plus here. It's the same thing. And inside the loop, all you need to do is just cancel log I. So these two are equivalent. All right. These two are equivalent. If you try it right now, it's going to give you the same result. And also, you can do it with like a for each loop, or you can do it with like a for loop. For in loop, you're gonna learn this in the future, right? You can do it in different ways. You can learn this in future. If you don't know that. I cannot do it with for each, but you can do it with for each loop. Like for each loop, actually we cannot do it with for each loop. It's for the array. Just do it with a for loop or while loop. Right? You can do it with for a while loop or for loop. And that's for question 1. Question 2. Let's copy the question requirement. Put it here. So it asks you to let me comment this function out. Otherwise, it's cancel log the test out. So write the function print int ref. Taking one parameter n and print all natural numbers in the reverse order in console. Right? So in question 1, I ask you to print from 1 to the given number, and in question 2, you should print from the given number to the 1. So again, the function name is already told you. The function is called print int ref. It takes n as input, and it's basically going to have the same thing but in reverse way. So instead of start from 1, we can start from n, and when to continue, like we're going from n back to 1, right? So when this I is bigger than or equals to 1, we're going to keep continue print out. So it basically just changes I. When I is bigger or equals to 1, we just keep doing it. And change the I plus plus to I minus minus, because we're going to backwards. We're going to from n, I minus 1, and n minus 2, I minus 3 until it's getting 1. So this is for the question 2. You can test that. This is very easy. Give it 12 again, and we're gonna reload it. So it's getting from 12 to 1. All right. You can also do it with a while loop to do so. And for the question 3, write the function check input, takes one parameter x and return the string number if x is a number. Return string if x is a string. Return boolean if the x is a boolean. And otherwise, we're going to return -1. So I have an example provided here. If we say check input 5, it's going to give you a number. If I say check input hello, it's going to give you a string. If I give a check input of 5 within a string, remember, like I have a quotation marks, so this is still a string. And if I check input true, it's going to give us a boolean. And if I check input gives the array, it should give a -1. Right? So this function usually using you should check the type of the input variable. So again, you should have multiple ways to do so. Let me firstly, I'd like to put the requirement inside my document. So alright, so the function name is called check input. It takes the x as a parameter. So what it does is going to do a few things. Check if x is a number. Also, we need to check if x is a string, and also we need to check if x is a boolean. Right? We're going to check the few things. If none of them are matched, we're going to return -1. How do we check if x is a string, boolean, or -1? That's going to need you to do some research online, like how to check the type of the input x. So there's a function called typeof. If you do some research, you're gonna find that. So if you try that in the console, here is a type of 5. It's going to tell you it's a number. Type of hello, with a string. If you say type of any like a boolean, true, because we told you it's a boolean, so you're gonna use that to return the type of it. And also, if you give like a type of array, it's gonna tell you this is an object. All right. So we basically can use that. So the most common, I mean the first way can come up here. You can just use some if here, like if type of x is a number, then we're gonna return a number. Right. This is so this is what check number. And also we can check else if type of x is equals to string. You're gonna return string. Don't forget the semicolon. Else if type of x is equals to boolean, then return boolean. Remember, this time it says return the string, not console log it. All right. So in the requirement, it asks you to return it, so please return it, not just console log it. And else, we're gonna return -1. This is a most straightforward way. You can do it in this way. Actually, it works. You can try that out. So if I have a check input 5 here and refresh page, oh, I need to delete this test here. You'll see like there's nothing coming out. That's because instead of console log, I have returned this function. And then when I call this function, the browser doesn't know where you want to put the output. Do you want to put the output in the console, but it didn't see the console log? Or do you want to put the answer in your file? You also didn't see that. So you're gonna tell it like where you want to put the answer. You can have a console log outside of it. Say, for example, you have say console.log, and in the parentheses, you want to print out the answer of this check input. So console log check input 5. It's gonna put the answer in the number. It's gonna put the answer in the console. Right, the 5 is a number. We're checking hello. it's gonna tell you this is a string. If you try to check the input boolean, it'll tell you this is a sorry, not boolean, true. It's gonna tell you this is a boolean. Boolean is not defined. Oh, it should be string boolean. And also you can check in like any array. It's gonna tell you -1. All right. And no, you can shorten this function. You see, like this is like a type of x equals string, type of x equal to number, type of x equals boolean. It's kind of like a redundant. You can basically shorten the function here. All right, so and first check, we're checking if x is a number, and then we check if x type of x is a string. Like you see, if I just put the type of x, it's got hold on a second.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. I am not the bearer of bad news. I like to say good morning every now and then. But this stairwell here, don't go down that stairwell. Don't go in that stairwell to make no phone calls. Don't go in that stairwell. Just that stairwell. That's it. Good morning. Continue on. Continue on.
All right. So let's keep going. So right now we are using string if here to do so, and also like remember we can use the switch cases to do it, right? Like switch is basically going to make it looks better. So like we can switch, depends on the type of x. So for the case, when the type of x equal to number, we want to return number. And for the case string, we want to return string. When the case boolean, we want to return boolean. And other cases, we want to return -1. And if do that, do it in this way. It's gonna still, you can still try it out. It's gonna give you the answer you expect. All right, when you comment this out, it still give you the same result. This is by doing that with a switch case. And also, like you see, like the first three cases is very similar. And if you just see the type of 5, it's basically you just when you're trying to check the check input 5, it's basically just trying to call the type of 5. So in here we can actually have a shorter way to do so. Let me show you that. So we can basically say if type of x is equals to number. Actually, we can, yeah, or let me copy that. Type of x is equal to a string, or type of x is equals to a boolean. In any of the three cases, I can just return type of x, right? Because like when type of x is type of x, if x is a string, the type of x is basically just going to return string. If x is a number, type of x is basically just going to directly give a number. And if x is a boolean, the type of x is basically just going to give you a boolean. And else, you just return -1. You can do that.
I was trying to do it with like a dictionary statement. It didn't work.
What did you work? Didn't work?
on that switch case.
The switch case.
Yeah, instead I was trying like the tertiary conditions. It didn't work.
Make sure the syntax is correct. You're gonna have like a type of x. This is a depend in the parentheses. You can tell it. I want to change the cases depends on the type of x, and here you have the different cases, and here is like when type of x matches number. Have a colon here. What do you want it to do? So make sure the syntax is correct. All right. And you can also do it within this way. That should be. I believe there's more ways you can do it. You can just do some research. Think about like in either any shorter way or like a smart way to do so. All right. Okay. Let's keep looking for the question 4. So question 4, write a function simple even ending, taking an even number and end up all the even numbers from 1 to the none. So firstly, let's write a function here. The name is called simple even ending. Takes a noun, and it's going to do a few things. It's firstly going to, it's basically going to looking for all the even numbers from 1 to the giving noun. And then it's going to add them together. Right? So take the number and add up all the even number from 1 to n. So there are some examples here. If I do a simple even ending 5, the answer is going to be 6. It's because like from 1 to the 5, there are 2 even numbers, 2 and 4. So we plus 2 and 4, the answer is 6. And if we do a simple ending 10, from 1 to 10, even numbers are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If we plus them together, the answer is 30. And same thing for 11. And if we do a simple even ending 1, the answer is 0. Simple ending 0, the answer is 0. Because there's no even number. Or say there's only just, there's no even number from 1 to 1. Alright? So we're basically going to do a few things. Firstly, we're going to loop from 1 to the given noun. And inside the loop, we're going to basically check if the current number is even or not. I'm going to check if that is even number or not. If that is an even number, if it is even, we'll plus it together, right? Plus it together. We'll basically just sum it up. And else, we don't have to do anything. Don't need to do anything. And just keep going to the next number. Right? Those are the first things you're going to think about it. Right? I'm not going to tell you the answer right now. I'm going to give you some time to think about it. So I think some students haven't started this function yet. So basically just have a loop going from 1 to the number and checking if the current number is even or odd. If they're even, we'll do something. If they're odd, we'll skip it. Next question. Write a function letter capitalized. It takes a string and it capitalizes the first letter of each word. The given words will be separated by only one space. So what does that mean? So we have some examples here. So if I call letter capitalize hello world, it's gonna capitalize the first letter of this word hello, and also the first letter of the word W. So it's gonna be hello world, missing L here, but it basically just capitalize the first character inside it. And then if I give you like any sentence, it's gonna capitalize each first word of each first character of the word. It's gonna capitalize the Y of this U, capitalize the C, That's a ft here, right? So no matter how many words you have here, it's gonna always finding the first character and capitalize it. So the function here, let's say we have a function. It's called letter capitalize. It takes a string, right? So remember, there's already a hint inside this question. It told you that the given words will be separated by only one space. So how do we find the different words inside this input? We're going to using that space to find it, right? If we can separate the input by space, we can find how many words we have it. Right? So basically, first you're going to split the input str based on space, right? Based on space. And then we're gonna capitalize. I'm gonna find the first letter of each word and capitalize it. And after we capitalize them, we're gonna combine them into one string, right? Combine them back. So the split input based on string, give you some hint. There's a predefined function can help you do so. It's called split. Take a look at that function, all right? There's a predefined function called split. Find the first letter of each word. Remember the function you learned in the online course. It's called a slice, right? I think that's going to be helpful. Also, there's another function called to uppercase. Can help you to find to transfer the word into uppercase. You can take a look at that, right? And it's just using a way to combine them together. Think about it, right? Think about it. This is question 5. I'm gonna do one more question. Say question 6. Question 6. Where is question 6? Question 6 is right here. So write the function simple reverse. Take the string and return reverse in a reversed order. So also you can find examples in the description. If I give you a hello, it's gonna reverse the order of the character. Let's give you a reverse break. If I love code, it's gonna reverse it. So again, think about how do we get each character out and combine them back together into a whole word. How do I get the H out, get the E out, get the L out, get the L out, and get the O out? And put O at first, and plus L plus L plus E plus H. Combine it into reversed order. Same thing for this one. How do I get each character out and combine them? Think about using some help function. You're gonna need to loop through a string. Right, you're gonna loop from the first character until the last character, and getting each character out and combine them together. Right. So think about the function I just told you about split or slice, and try to combine them together. Right. So I stop right here and see if you can finish until the from 1 to the number 6. I'm gonna talk a little bit about other questions tomorrow. All right.